Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm a senior studying medical anthropology and global health. This quarter, I did independent research under Dr. Holly Barker on reckoning with legacies of medical mistrust. This is just a glimpse into the broader topic of population health and research ethics. Questions I had were, how have academic research institutions contributed to legacies of medical mistrust, and how does this shape population health? And what are the responsibilities that institutions have in addressing internal histories? This was exploratory qualitative research through literature review, pretty much me just looking for examples of past medical research conducted by universities that would be considered unethical by today's standards. Population health is shaped by the social determinants of health. My research places emphasis on the historical contexts as well. So, medical trust and systemic racism, these are examples of the historical relationships that form the backdrop upon which social determinants of health are built. Academic research institutions are an important source of medical knowledge and advancement, and because of this, they also hold immense power in shaping ethical standards of research conduct. Medical mistrust is more than the absence of trust. I'm using this definition, a tendency to distrust medical systems and personnel believed to represent the dominant culture in a given society. To that, I'm adding that mistrust is due to negative encounters with providers or systems, as well as bias or prejudice that is encountered. And this can be experienced on the individual or group level and can lead to decreased healthcare utilization and result in poor health outcomes. Also important to note is the emergence of institutional review boards that were built to protect research participants. While I think this is really important, they haven't been around forever, and I don't think they adequately address the harm or erasure that has been done to certain populations in the past. An example of this is the Havasupai diabetes study in Arizona. This is where the Havasupai, an indigenous tribe living in the Grand Canyon, approached an ASU researcher they had a relationship with to initiate a genetic study using blood samples to research the high prevalence of diabetes in the community and hopefully producing results that could help with this. This became problematic when it was discovered that these samples were being distributed to other researchers and institutions and used in research beyond what was consented to by the Havasupai. So this resulted in lawsuit and settlement and eventual return of the remaining samples to their original family members. This was especially significant given that this was the first time Havasupai had permitted blood to be used in research, and this is due to the cultural and spiritual significance of blood. Also resulted in a banishment disorder, whereby ASU employees were barred from stepping onto the reservation, and this was in response to the egregious breach of trust. Closer to home, the effects of radiation on male fertility study carried out by a researcher affiliated with the University of Washington. This was funded by the Atomic Energy Commission and involved recruitment of adult male inmates from the Walla Walla State Penitentiary. While they did give consent to the exposure to radiation, financial incentives and lack of disclosure of risks that were discovered later on revealed the consent to be ethically problematic. So results were never officially published, but were still used to shape worker safety regulations at Hanford, which is now a decommissioned plutonium production site that was used by the Manhattan Project. Conclusions and takeaways. It was really difficult for me to find examples of unethical research carried out by universities. There's no key word for that, but I think through these two examples, it feels clear to me that institutions do play a role in population healthcare through time, and therefore they do have a duty to take responsibility for their contributions. Um, Retroactive transparency is one way of doing that. It validates the erasure and harm that was experienced by these communities. It informs better research practices and it allows us to confront our past so that we can move forward. Questions